Hello, great ones. Welcome to the Live and Be Great podcast. I'm your host, Latanya Sampson McDonald. I am a life coach and a registered marriage and family therapist associate. And this podcast was created to motivate, educate, and inspire all to live and be great. This is the 20th episode of Live and Be Great, the Live and Be Great podcast, and also the finale for season 1. I cannot believe I got through it. Actually, I can, but this a whole pandemic and my extra ambitious and optimistic self decided to just push through because I felt as though people needed it and I needed it and it was the right time. So we got it done. If you listen to the last episode, I kind of made fun and normalized my whole situation because this podcast was supposed to air every 2 weeks and I had some issues. Like, I'm a human being. I was going through some things whenever I wasn't able to get it in on time. But you know what? Like I said, my motto is, when it comes to this motivation and inspirational thing, I'm walking through it with you guys, okay? Experiencing real life. And it does not stop when you're doing good work. It just doesn't. When you're doing God's work, the Most High's work, okay? So, for this 20th episode, man, first of all, my birthday just passed. It was February 20th. And that was on Saturday. The Thursday before, I decided to put in my 2 weeks notice to my job. And when I got the job, I've only been there since, I would say, November of 2020. But when I got the job, I was already experiencing burnout, I had to gain over the past few years since I graduated in 2018. I've been accumulating my 3,000 hours, and you need to accumulate 3,000 hours in the field doing therapy before you can get your license. And basically, being an AMFT just means that I have a supervisor, but I'm still a therapist. And when you get your license, you don't need anyone to supervise you. That's the only difference. Like, you still put in the work. Okay. But man, I was experiencing burnout, especially with this added pandemic as a stress. And I said before I took the job that I'm working past burnout and this is going to be my last job. You guys, I mean that. Okay. I had decided to get back to the old me, which is the Latanya that brought me to California with only, I believe, like $4,000 in the bank, no place to live, no car, no job, but still came, bought my ticket, applied to get into my master's program, got in, and just trusted God 100%. That is a part of my story. But let me back up a little bit. Okay. My birthday is usually a very, very anxious time for me. Okay. I don't know the particular story. I think the story is I was in middle school and there was a girl that I wasn't getting along with, and she sabotaged my birthday party and told everybody not to come, and it worked. And I think since then I just been super anxious. What I would do is I would kind of self-sabotage in a way my birthdays. Not really expect much. Tell people if I do decide to do something last minute, it usually is not really anything I want to do. I think I didn't start doing things that I wanted to do, or forcing myself to do things I wanted to do until I was probably like 27, 28. That's a long time, isn't it? But I've just usually made my birthdays, when I'm supposed to be celebrating me, about other people. I'm still working through that. Like, it's still, I didn't do anything. This birthday, I was like, I am going to appreciate this transition. I didn't think it would happen so soon. I thought I would at least be at this last job that I kept telling myself was my last job, until I, completely decide to work for myself. But I thought I was going to give it at least a year, you know, but that's not what the universe and God told me. And I know how to listen to God because he makes me very, very uncomfortable overnight when I start to put forth things in motion. I started saying to myself, yes, like, I cannot wait to leave. I also, decided to go ahead and get the LLC for my life coaching business with my partner in crime. Okay. My good sis that was on the show previously, Kima. And I was trying to figure out, when can I have clients? Because I was burnt out, working at this treatment facility. And I'm just like, I don't even know what time I could put in. Like, I had stopped promoting. And marketing. I got off of psychology today. I was on there, I got off because I'm just like, I don't even have the time or the energy to take on new clients. So how am I going to be able to do that? And, stuff shifted for me last week. Like, I finally said that I'm stressed and my anxiety is up and my heart's racing. I let my job know. And then it just seems like things got harder after that overnight, like unnecessarily harder. Well, maybe it was necessary because it was all just a sign. And then I ended up taking off Monday and I got back Tuesday and it was worse. And it got to the point to where, I felt attacked. And it was real for me. I didn't understand. Like, people giving me the cold shoulder. You could tell people were talking about me. And I was like, okay, I was going to give it 90 days. It went from a year to 90 days, but now it's going to be Monday. I'm going to turn it in. And then something else happened on Wednesday after the Tuesday when I came back. And then I just made the decision. I was just like, okay, Thursday morning, you getting this notice. And then I end up being able to verbally say that I'm leaving on Wednesday night. Just had the opportunity to do that. And, man, like, it was so freeing. And I remember that feeling I got when I decided to trust God in the beginning in 2015 and come out to California and go after my dreams. I'm getting back to that, and I don't have no other choice. Like, that's who I am. I want to say, let me back up again. Like, I want to say that also when it comes to my birthday, I've had so many near-death experiences. Actually, I came into this world fighting. If you ask my mom was sick, and I was a premature baby, and the doctors asked her, like, we may not be able to save both of you. So which one? And she said, save me. Basically save herself because she didn't want her sons, my three brothers, to grow up without a mother, which is understandable because she grew up without a mother. But I survived. And God saw fit, the Most High saw fit that I need to be here in this world. And I've had near-death experiences. Like, I remember when I was on the way to perform, I was in a car accident where the car flipped 3 times. you know. Um, Before then, I skipped over one. Before then, I was robbed at gunpoint. I could have lost my life then. Uh, After the car accident, my blood is low. I'm experiencing, pains. This is when I find out that I have fibroids. But, I go to the doctor because, I'm having some health complications. And they're like, we need to do some blood work. And they did the blood work when I went to the hospital, and they called me and told me that I need to come back right away because my blood count is super low. And if I get in a car accident right now, I will die. Like, and I'm just like, little do you know, I was just earlier that year, I was in a car accident. So, you know, the fact that God saved my life again and spared me is just like when my birthdays come around. And usually it was around my birthday when these things would happen, which is crazy. But I don't believe in coincidences. It just I just looked at it as I'm going to live for the people who are not here, who don't get a chance to continue to do it and get it right. Like, I have to take me being here as a sign that I'm supposed to be here. Even when I was in surgery, after that situation, my heart stopped. Like, I've been through some stuff. Like, seriously, I've been through some stuff. And every experience, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know what to do on my birthday to show that I'm so thankful. Like, there's nothing I could do. That's saying that it's a good thing. I do want to change that because I do want to celebrate my life on my birthdays, but I just get so overwhelmed with the fact that I'm still here, you know? Man, like, in life, you really, you really have to, look at everything. And me, I just take everything as certain signs as what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to be going at the moment. And yes, I've been through a lot of trying times, a lot of adversities, um, while I've been here on this earth, but I do not take it for granted. I look at a lot of my pain and struggles as this is not for me. It could be the it could be to help somebody see a way out when you make it through. That is a stranger that you can meet tomorrow, you can meet years from now, and they need to see that you made it in order to understand that they can make it too. And a lot of times, like, the vessel that it comes from, like, it has to come from somebody that looks like you, background that you have, or sometimes that person will not be receptive to that message. So I take it as I had to go through this particular thing for that person to help people, because that's how I get inspiration and motivation too. Like, I like to see people who look like me or in the same situation as me make it, or do something that I'm trying to do. I use that as inspiration, and that's how I look at my pain, as victory, you know, and it'll make some sense to me one of these days, and it usually happens. It usually does happen. Um, so when I say that I trust God 100%, okay? 100% meaning that in spite of the fear, I go into just claiming and manifesting and that thanking God that whatever I have is already mine. That God will make a way. And that is what I'm truly leaning on and believing, taking this leap of faith to strictly just work for myself. I don't want to work for nobody else unless it's like a big company, CNN owned, wherever. If it's a big company that will pay me what I'm worth, will attempt to pay me what I'm worth, at least way more, to sustain me so it doesn't feel like work, then yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like I have to do things my way before I fall out of love with helping people. Like when you work for big corporations, a lot of times it is money driven. So you get overworked, you get underpaid, and you feel used, abused, and it drains you. You know, being a therapist is a lot of emotional work that is rewarding, but when you don't have anything left over for yourself, like you have financial stressors, you got, work life stressors, you feel unappreciated when you're going through all of that, like it can really, really kick you out of this field. And I can't come out of this field because I don't want to come out of this field because I truly believe that I have a gift. I really, really do. And I've been told that multiple times by clients, by, professors, supervisors, you name it. Okay. I've been told that, young and old. I've been told that, and I believe that I do, and I don't doubt it at all. I was laughing with my mom today, and she was telling me how when I was a little girl, I didn't talk to people. Um, and people would ask, what's wrong with her? Why does she talk? Look at this person, compare me to other kids in the family, like they talk or whatever. And my mom be like, well, she talks to me. And she said she realized that I was observing people, and that's what I've always done. I'm very introverted, believe it or not. Even though I love to perform, I love to dance, I love to act. I do this podcast. I'm very introverted, and every friend that I have has approached me. Every friend that I've had, or I've been in a position for them to seek me out and talk to me, because I'm not the one that will go up and just introduce myself to people. I'm trying to get better at it now at my big old age at 35, but I just always want to scan the room, see who's in there, and get a better understanding of who you are, not just what you say, but what you don't say. I've always been like that since I was a little girl. So from then, I was doing it. I was listening. I was listening and being observant like a little therapist. So it's always been in my DNA and in my veins and in my heart to be able to help people through insight, giving them a different perspective of life, helping them see things that, they've normalized, things that they're unable to see that is affecting them. Remove any blockages, any obstacles that they have placed, that they don't necessarily have the guidance or the consciousness to know that that's bothering them, or that's where they're struggling. I just love that. And especially I love the fact that I can give it to the Black community, to people who don't look like me. Any people that have a stigma of mental health. I get joy when they're able to see me do this, and they feel comfortable, and they feel like they now have a chance to heal when they see me. I've had people like that look like me, first session break completely down, um, and cry in joy because they have a black woman therapist. And that experiences like that, oh my goodness, priceless. And I do not take any of it for granted. Like, I can't believe that I can say I've worked with rapists, murderers, privileged, underprivileged, abuse victims, children, adults, elderly. I've worked with in such a short amount of time. Like, I only was able to put my hands on clients figuratively, okay? But I was only able to like actually put what I've learned through my own experiences and through school to work in starting 2017. So the fact that I've had so many experiences that are out of this world and in such a vast range, I get overwhelmed, and I can't believe that God trusts me with such a big task, such a rewarding task. And that makes me feel so good. I know I sound like very happy and overjoyed. Maybe, I don't know, like if you guys have been listening to the episodes, you can probably tell when I didn't have energy and when I did. When I was pushing through and when I wasn't. And I'm saying this to say that this journey has been difficult. It's been so difficult. And how I keep going is I have support. You know, when I feel like I'm failing, I'm falling, whatever you want to call it, when I'm struggling, I cannot express how important it is to make sure you have a strong support system. If you don't have one, create one. Okay? If you've lost friends in the process of you trying to be great, relationships, have to cut off family members, listen, there's no reason why you can't create that safe space for yourself. And one of the first things you need to do when trying to accomplish a goal that is not of the norm, and I'm talking about out of the 9 to 5 realm, you know, and like I always say, no disrespect to anybody that works a 9 to 5, but a 9 to 5 is very difficult. You're basically spending most of your time building somebody else's dream from 9 to 5. Barely get to spend time with your family. Your family gets less of that time. They train us to do so with the long school days, like it's all a part of the process. And sometimes, because the majority of the world is moving in one way, you can sometimes, feel that, okay, is this dumb? Am I crazy? For wanting to do this, for wanting to be an entrepreneur, or whatever it is that you're trying to do that is not normalized. It can definitely feel that way. So when that starts to seep in, because it will, when you have the majority of the people moving one way and you decide to be the odd person out, yeah, you're going to feel that hesitation, that fear, that uncertainty. It will come, but you have to know where to go. If you got to read a certain book, listen to a certain song that motivates you, if you got to call a particular person, if you got to look at 95 different inspirational stories or listen to 95 different inspirational podcasts, do it, right? Create a way to cope with that fear for yourself. Therapy, of course, life coaching is great, right? That's the basis. I'm going to tell you that. But a support system, a circle of friends, even if you have to create a new one. I've seen people in Facebook groups, listen, I don't have no friends, or I've just had to cut my friends off because they didn't believe in me. Does anybody want to be a friend? Where you, like, I've seen people do that, and there's no judgment. You got to get past what you think everybody's saying about you. You have to. You have to. Like, I cannot stress that enough. It takes a lot of training, a lot of mind work, a lot of support, a lot of healing to get to that point. I mean, you've heard the stories of the richest people. Okay, the trendsetters. You heard their stories. People from living in a car, living in a closet, living in a storage unit, eating at the trash, all sorts of stuff. You hear that, right? But these people who were able to accomplish these goals had to push past the norm and the negativity and the fear. Okay, they all had that in common. The people who felt like, oh, I'm too old to do this, I'm too black to do this, whatever the case may be, those people had to really, really push past the mental blockage and the boundaries in order to obtain all that they have obtained. They had to. So there's no reason why you can't do it. And I'd rather you live this life saying I lived it in my purpose than be on your deathbed with a whole bunch of different regrets. Like, even if you got whatever it is, whatever excuses you're telling yourself, I promise you there is a solution for it. There's always a comeback. So you really, really, have to take your life seriously and listen to your heart. Like, I hate seeing stories about people who worked for a company for 30 years, get laid off, don't get taken care of, or don't don't take care of themselves, and within a month or two they die. After they've given everything to that company and wasn't able to sustain any type of purpose or wealth. And I'm not saying that we all got to be millionaires. I'm definitely not saying that, But what I am saying is that you don't have to just live. You can live and be great. Be great at what you do. Feel great about yourself. Have a great purpose and a great passion for the one life that you get. You can do that. Take it seriously and just jump. Find your support system, create it. Find your coping skills, okay? Read whatever you got to read, listen to whoever you need to listen to, but get it done. Do it. You're worth it. Another thing, honestly, I personally feel that if you are listening to this podcast, you don't look like me and not a black person, or a person of color, or anything like that. Like, I hate to make it about that, but it's facts, and it's part of what I bring to the table when it comes to the education and the knowledge. I think anybody can be inspired by a black person because listen. If you guys have been listening to the podcast and really taking in the education I'm giving you, if you are aware of at least 10% of what black people had to go through, especially here in America, but they're still kicking and the trauma isn't over, because yes, we still gotta deal with discrimination and racism. We still have to combat stereotypes that have been portrayed in the media. You go to different countries, and a lot of times if they don't know any black people, they looking at the news, and that makes up their misconception of us just being human. But the fact that we're still in that and still fighting for our lives, we're not just all, you know, saying, okay, we just gonna take this Kool-Aid. We just gonna Jim Jones ourselves and just say forget it, throw in the towel. The fact that we not doing that, and we have every right to, if we're truly aware of the amount of pain that transcends over years through generations and is embedded in our DNA, literally, the trauma. Oh my goodness. Wow. You know, I definitely am aware, and I use that as inspiration. I do. I can't help it. I do. Like, I can't believe that I had to do so much from such a little girl, been trying to prove to the world that I wasn't dangerous since I was a little girl. You know, be invalidated, to be shunned, to be treated like I wasn't going to be anything, that I was less than, based off of something that I cannot change my whole life. The fact that I'm still here is, I'm somebody's impossible. I am, you know, I am. And that's how, like, I'm in awe, you know? That's also why I get to saying no now. I feel like more people become aware, especially black women. Whoo, the more of us become aware, yes, you're gonna hear some more no's. I bet you, going through pandemic and racism at the same time. Black people always have to fight more wars. There'll be one war and there'll still be an extra war of racism and discrimination that we'll have to fight. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody has been hearing the word no. Somehow, some way, from a black woman, you know? Somebody who is understanding, black men too, somebody who is understanding like their worth and all the stuff that I feel like as a people we are owed. We didn't ask to be here, you know, and we've been fighting for our freedom since day one. Since day one here in America, I should say. Because, man, listen, we came from royalty, you know? So, yeah, anybody listening to this podcast, take this as inspiration, okay? Anytime you see, you know, somebody that has not succumbed to abuse and the system, you know, and by the way, you should have extreme empathy for black people that, you know, are on drugs or homeless or in jail, you know, trying to feed their kids and things of that nature. You should have extreme empathy because people have no idea the amount of strength it takes to continue to exist in a world, you know, don't want you here, you know, but yet wouldn't be what it is without you. Slap in the face. We still in our trauma, you know, but you should be inspired and become an ally. Okay. I'm trying to break it down and explain it to you as best as I can. If you're still struggling with this last episode, please, I promise I have great information that you could learn, you know, and truly understand what I'm trying to say when it comes to being inspired by somebody who has a more difficult struggle than you've had. You know, we all do it, and it's okay to do that. Use that if you need to, you know. But yeah, y'all know I had to throw that in there because that's that's part of my thing. It's part of my experience, and I can't truly motivate and inspire and be authentic if I don't include everything that I need to include, and all the struggles and all the obstacles that I have to break past. Yeah. It's been a lot. It still is a lot. But I say all of this, the whole episode, to say, I refuse to just live. I want to live and be great, and I'm still fighting to do that, and it's happening. I claim it, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to do it. Okay, 20 whole episodes in a pandemic. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. I'm so grateful. Um, a few announcements is I am accepting new clients. I truly am. So if you are interested in starting your life coaching journey, all right, being one of my clients, as well as my partner, please go to www.liveandbegreat.com. Okay. Do it. You're worth it. Okay. You're worth the support and investing in yourself and in your future. You've worked hard and you've earned it, no matter what you've been through. Okay. Also, I will be uploading these episodes to my YouTube. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it. If I'm going to keep it podcast out. Well, of course, these episodes, all 20 of them, I'm just going to throw them on the channel. Look for Live and Be Great. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to it, please. I will try to leave the links in the description. Hopefully you guys will be able to click on it. But I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. I think I want to do some reviews on some YouTubers, on some topics, and give you guys like a psychological aspect and take on it. That's probably the direction that I'm going to go with as far as the on-screen videos. But I'm definitely going to have this podcast up, still on the podcast stations, but also I'm going to upload them to YouTube as well. I think that's how I'm gonna start, because I really want to revamp this YouTube channel and do it right, and just be able to inspire as many people through all the platforms that I have access to. And also, this will be mentioned in the outro. This podcast is strictly crowdfunded, okay? And that means that I'm always accepting donations so I can continue to bring you content. I do need some support there, because podcasters don't really make that much. Like, they don't. And I want to be able to produce better and better content with better and better quality. I apologize multiple episodes for the dogs when they bark, when they're outside. Not my dogs, my neighbor's dogs. So I definitely want to give you the best that I can give to everybody. It's difficult being an entrepreneur. You lose a lot of money in the process when you're first starting, but I feel like it's worth it. It just really is worth it. And you just got to continue to ask for support where you need it, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not about to, you guys already know, but I'm not about to ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do. So if you have enjoyed this season of Live and Be Great, please show me some love, subscribe to the channels, leave me some good reviews, and donate if you can, if you have it, even if it's $1. I appreciate every cent of that. Because I'm an emotional worker. I'm always in my feelings, and that's just me. That's just who I am, and that's how I inspire, So season 2, gonna take a little break, revamp, restructure, organize my thoughts in my life. And I will definitely be back for season 2. I hope and pray that you all keep listening, and follow me everywhere. Follow me at Live and Be Great on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Look for me. I'll be here to support. And I'm excited about the journey, and I'm excited to hear feedback. I'm excited to hear, anything that I've said that you've implemented into your life, that you found guidance and you found support from, and how it has changed you. Please email me at liveandbegreat@gmail.com. Reach out to me however you can. I definitely want to hear your stories. And it keeps me going. Every time I'm able to make a breakthrough, another piece of me gets healed, and I just just feel honored and wonderful about it. I do. So that's it for season 1. That is it for this finale episode, the 20th episode. I appreciate you all, and yeah. Hope you have enjoyed this episode. And please, 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 please give yourself permission to live and be great. The Live and Be Great podcast will be airing every other Friday. If you have truly enjoyed this podcast, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving Live and Be Great a chance. Please feel free to share, like, give a review, subscribe on whichever platform that you're listening to right now, on iTunes or Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, as well as Google Play. The Live and Be Great podcast is strictly crowdfunded, so if you are interested in becoming a supporter, you can click the link in the description, or you can go to liveandbegreat.com and scroll to the bottom and donate to the Live and Be Great podcast today, so I can continue to give you good and motivational content. Thank you all for listening, and don't forget to give yourself permission to live and be great.